Like reality TV.
Yeah, so careful.
Some people services give you the community.
So there are some people that actually watch, so that's good, that's good.
That's good, yes.
But yeah. But to be honest, it was, from that person in particular, I was never expecting her to be watching this, but she did.
I apologize, it was a systems change, we're live, thank you.
Perfect. Okay, we're live and we're recording, right?
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay, so thank you, everybody. Technical issues are being overcome, so welcome to the monthly meeting of the City Arts Commission. Present, we have Commissioner Cecily Wilson, Lisa Kelly, Ward Means, DJ Brunsfield, Marilena Ferrer. We have online Isabel Cotarello, Julio Nazario, and Dina Suggs. Our guest online, we have Jennifer McGregor, our consultant, Mr. Richard Promes, Susan Cahill, Sarah Beard, Maggie Inch, and Sarah Pasty.
Jennifer, did you bring somebody to the meeting? We cannot see her, but I allowed her in. I can't hear you. Can you unmute, please?
Unmute.
Was that Elizabeth Keithline?
I think so. I can't understand.
You kidding me? Is it Isabel?
She's got a different email. I see read.ai meeting notes guest.
That's her.
That's not,
Oh, no, that's the AI assistant.
Yeah.
That's the AI, yeah. Don't worry, it's new technology.
They take notes.
The AI takes notes.
It takes notes on the chat.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I send it to you.
Yeah, don't worry. And also our director of Arts and Culture, Keith Bonner, is with us. So we start the meeting a little bit late, so we are gonna try to move forward in the agenda. We have first the approval of the minutes from March 14.
I move that we approve the excellent minutes that our secretary has prepared.
Beautiful. Second,
Exuberantly give a second.
okay. Everything in favor, say yay.
Hey,
Yay. Any nay or abstention? What about online? I'm gonna take a silence as a yes. Okay, good, approved. Thank you very much, everyone. So we move forward with the agenda. We defer the report from the director. So Lisa Kelly, Chair of the Distinguished Artist Award discussion.
Yes.
You got
Okay.
it.
So, yeah, it's been shaken up. The selection panel is confirmed. Their meeting will be on Sunday, April 21st, to deliberate 13 nominations.
On the 21st.
On the 21st, Sunday, the 21st. And we have a lot of stellar nominations, unbelievable. So they have quite a task
It's
ahead of
gonna be
them.
hard.
Yeah. So I met with Kit earlier in the week. We just kind of going through the checklist of tasks and things. And aside from, informing the mayor as soon as the selection committee has made their determination, which will also include a runner-up in case the awardee that is chosen is not available or does not accept the award. Be informing the mayor the following week, and then the next week, hit the ground running with promotion and marketing for the ceremony and reception, which is on Thursday, May 23rd at 5:30.
I guess we first have to make sure that the distinguished artist isn't off on a Pacific cruise.
Yeah, automatic disqualification, being on vacation. Yeah.
That would be a good reason to disqualify the winner.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm getting run a show and working all that out, working with Summer Smith, so working with departments here on this, which is feels really good. Ward had reached out to Sarah Beams, and I had a follow-up conversation with her, which is why she's here today. She has agreed to design our physical award. So I wanted everyone to know her. I know most people do. I don't know if you do, Cicely, but anyway, Sarah is a long Princeton resident. And, we're just getting some design thoughts and ideas together for her. I don't know if this is the time at this meeting, but I just wanted to
I think
invite
it'd be
her.
interesting if
Yeah.
we took a couple, 3 minutes if people had some
Yeah.
Yes.
ideas.
So do you want to sit up here? Yeah, so we met before the meeting, just with some preliminary talking, how this award could be distinguished,
Yeah, from
distinguished
other-
Kingston.
Right, yeah. So, and I'd like to just get any feedback or ideas that anybody, if anybody had a concept in their mind that they'd like me to kick around a bit.
I have a question. Do we want to keep some sort of continuity with what happened in the past? If I remember, it was like we don't want that. Okay. No, I just asking. Okay.
I'm not married to it myself.
It's okay.
And the artist takes it home, so it doesn't matter, you never see it again.
Yeah, right. So I don't know if we wanted something that contains something, or if we want something like more, we have at home, the one that you did for the volunteer, remember
Yeah.
that Jerry got one?
Yeah.
He proudly had on his desk, and, it's very, just stand there, it's not an utilitarian object,
And,
but yes.
I mean, you all can look on my website, I can pull it up on my tablet, or you can as well. There are different awards I've done over the years. I've done a lot of different ones for Artsman Hudson. The awards, I have done functional pieces, vases and boxes and such like that. But the freestanding plaque, which is in a glass base, which I also handmade. My medium is fused glass, by the way, but the very few of you who don't know me. So it's kiln fired glass. And the freestanding plaques, right. And if I can just, oops, I just went to the. No, I'm sorry.
Where did it go?
I just have to close that.
Okay. Sorry.
And if you want to go to this, the arts.
This is the Alfred Hudson
Yeah,
one.
and there's a, one, oh, we have to do it here.
Yeah.
Can you scroll down to the bottom?
Sure.
Show the- Okay, this one here.
This one?
Yeah. So this was the last one.
Okay, and I guess that I can make it a little bit,
There you go. And, so Lisa and I were talking about the concept of maybe somehow more of an abstraction of the seal, of the city seal, with the sailboat, the sun, the blue, green. But in my style, it would be much more abstract. It would not be very literal, because the way I work doesn't really come across literally very well.
Abstract would be a good idea if that's what you would be doing.
Right.
My suggestion, please, is to check with Summer Smith on that, whether or not there are any,
Oh, the usage of the, okay.
do you have some, or?
I have
Did you check in with her about?
She had to reschedule, so I have a call with her tomorrow.
Okay, you and I could.
Yeah.
But if that's not, I can also just, the idea of some of the Artsman Hudson's was this idea of kind of river, mountains.
Yeah.
I think about an abstraction of the city hall.
Hello?
Julio has
Can you
yes?
share that screen with us?
Oh, it's not the same computer, but we can do.
We can refer.
Send us the link. You know what? I'm going to send the link on the email. Does that work for you?
Yeah,
Because
just send
it's-
the email. Oh, yeah, just send me the link and
Yeah.
I'll click it on my other laptop.
We also talked about, in a phone call, we talked about the city hall spire. Was a-
Because it's a lot more attractive than the city's seal.
Yeah, although I don't know how well it would translate in the glass work.
Yeah, I mean, you're the artist. I was also interested in and attracted to your
Vases.
the ones that aren't leaning again, not on your glass
Uh-huh.
base,
Mhm.
but they are bases. The whole thing is huge, the blocks.
Or the vases, is it?
Are you thinking of the vases?
But they're rectangles.
Those are vases.
Yeah.
So it's a vase with kind of a fused glass panel on the front.
No, there was no fused glass.
Okay.
I didn't think, well, I can look.
Oh, you
Yeah.
look it up and let me know. And then the other thing I would need to know, once you've made your decision, is the wording. What the
Yes.
wording would be. Of course, I would set it and send it back to you for final approval and do kind of a rough layout as best I can of the idea before I went ahead and did it, obviously, so.
Are you
That's all in agreement.
Are you making Aspen Hudson this year too?
I'm not gonna make the Artsman Hudson this year. I think they decide 10 years of me was enough, so.
Dare that.
Might I make a suggestion? Branding, why can't we come up with a concept that we keep?
Mhm.
So it is always us, and it removes not the, John having here, but it removes this discussion. If we look at who we are and how we want to be perceived, and it's always there every year, the date on it changes and the wording changes.
Yeah.
It's just a thought. You can all
Oh, yeah.
think of it.
Yeah, something that we can discuss. Yes.
I know the work.
Oh, Elizabeth.
So is there any branding around the Distinguished Artist Award so far?
No, that we have so far, but we could think about that and send you some
We
ideas. Yeah.
can meet and talk about it.
Yeah.
Maybe next week.
Okay.
It ends up being something that the artist
Definitive.
wants to have on her or his shelf. That's the most important thing,
Right.
because it's not gonna sit at the city hall. So,
Okay.
Yes, that's true.
So other than the spire and us talking about the,
Good
and there's
question.
really no other ideas that are crying out.
We are not really, yeah, we're open to, and also to your suggestions. Maybe you will say like, listen, taking all this in, I will propose something like this, and maybe, I don't know. That will help.
I could send you more information about the award too. if that would
Okay,
help.
that would help.
The spirit of the award
Mm-hmm.
and what it's supposed to
Yeah.
signify.
And if you can somewhere actually start getting the wording together, even without the artist's name, that would be helpful too. Just for the general layout of it.
Exactly, yeah, I already have a draft.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
I have-
And please, you are invited to stay as long as you want. You don't have
be
to.
insulted if I didn't stay?
No, I won't be.
So can I add one thing?
Sure.
We move on, for the commissioners, I really, I need help, and volunteers for the ceremony and reception. So, if you can, mark your calendars for that date. I need help with greeters at the main entrance, as Kit and I both agreed that having commissioners, greeting people, for the.
It's the 23 of, 23.
Yes, Thursday at 5:30. Greeters at, the chamber entrance here, we all have a program that we'll be passing out. I also need some help with reception attendees, but, like attendance at the table.
So
I think that's really low key, it's really the breakdown and cleanup to leave
Yeah.
promptly that, I really need extra help.
it's at 5 o'clock or?
5:30.
5:30 to 6:30.
Wow.
So it will be more like afterwards to clean up.
Yeah, so 5:30 to 6:30 is the program, timing, and then
Mhm.
after that will be the reception.
Oh. so
Oh,
The whole
Program.
thing begins at 5:30.
Yes, the program is an hour and then a reception follows
and then people will say maybe,
until they eat all the shrimp.
and then. Okay.
Very good, so then you and I will be in touch.
Yes, yeah, I'll be in touch, once I talk to Summer, get her.
Okay, great. Thank you all very much. I look forward to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to see you again.
Glad it's working
Good to
out.
see you.
Beautiful. Any other comment? No? Beautiful, okay. So our next point is the discussion of the public art policy, the updates and the timeline. So we have Jennifer McGregor online. Kit, do you want to do like a brief intro or we go directly?
No,
to
let's go
Jennifer?
right to Jennifer, please.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Lisa. No, don't worry.
You're muted, Jennifer.
Sorry, I had everything all set up here and now I'm just reorganizing so I can share the screen.
Okay.
So. Okay, there we go.
And this is the update that you circulated like a day ago.
Just so that everyone understands, because there was some confusion at the committee meeting. The update that was sent prior does not have the, suggestions by the committee. Not sure if, no, and it doesn't have the, recommendations and input by the mayor. So we're gonna flow through this, and Jennifer's gonna explain, accordingly.
Okay, yeah, so the draft that I have on the screen right now, can everybody see it?
No?
Oh. Let me try it again. Okay, can you see it now?
Partially.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Great. Okay, so this draft represents the suggestions that we had from the mayor when Kit and Sarah and I met with him last Friday. And it also has the suggestions from the Public Art Policy Committee that we discussed on Monday in our meeting on Monday. So what I thought we would do is just go through, we're just focusing on the section 2. We did talk with the mayor about the statement of purpose, and he was totally in agreement with that. He had one word suggestion that we put in. And since we've already discussed that here a few months ago, I thought we'll just jump right into the roles and responsibilities. And I'm just going to start by sort of refreshing our memory about the types of projects that are going to be reviewed. And then we're going to discuss what the review process, what we're recommending for the review process. So the types of projects would be newly commissioned artwork that is either requested or initiated by a city department, but undertaken by the ACA. We would have existing artwork to be placed or moved on public property, indoors or out. So that's work that will ultimately be part of the municipal art collection, but it's the artwork that's owned by Kingston as of now. We have temporary artwork that might be proposed by artist organizations or other entities that would be not part of the municipal art collection, but would be on view for however long it was determined. And then we have the municipal art collection issues that involves the inventory and maintenance of the overall collection. And then there would ultimately be specific plans for individual artworks down the line when that takes place. And then artwork to be deaccessioned. So that is artwork that would be removed from the collection. And our collections management process outlines what that would be. We also discussed, and I think, I'm not sure if we mentioned it in this meeting previously, but that we recommend that there are no donations of permanent artwork from non-city entities be reviewed until the inventory is complete and the policy is underway. It seems that it's important to get everything up and running before we start looking at acquiring more artwork through donations.
Jennifer, it's Ward. I was wondering if you had an estimate of when that time would be, when it would be complete and we could start accepting artwork.
Well, we first have to go into phase 1 of this, and that is the hiring or contracting with a conservator, I believe the word is, so that we can have a full inventory done of the existing art collection, as we do not have anything of the sort right now.
We're a registrar, but that's okay, go ahead.
I mean,
That's good.
I think it's a little hard to say how long it would be. I would, maybe a couple of years, you know.
But when it might, that's what I was trying to figure out, if it would actually be that long, okay.
I mean, because I think it's really important to, when you're accepting artwork, to understand where it's going, how it's being maintained. And I think
Yeah.
after you've been at this a little bit, you're gonna, those will be questions that will be, you know, easier to answer than, you know, if somebody was to show up right now with a donation. So any questions about this section? Okay. So at your suggestion, I tried to do a diagram. We tried to do a diagram of what the sign-off process is.
Oh, we
So,
don't have nothing here.
No.
Okay.
We just worked on.
That's the, okay, after the conversation, yeah.
so number one, a public art project is initiated with ACA. Number two, ACA will share with relevant departments regarding the feasibility or other related questions. So just sort of figuring out what's involved and how it's going to work. If it is involving a new artwork that is commissioned or purchased, an art selection panel will be formed to review and make a recommendation. Four, so we're kind of going around in a circle here. The Public Art Committee will review the proposed project and may ask for additional information or revisions. But once it's satisfied with the proposal project, it will recommend it to the Kingston Art Commission. The Kingston Art Commission will review the project and then submit it to the mayor for final approval. So that is what and this came out of our discussions with the mayor and again with the Public Art Committee.
A question, because there it says the PAC, which is the Public Art Commission,
Yeah,
distinct from the commission.
No, there is not, there is, in my understanding is that committee have some commissioner and employees from City Hall.
Right, but that's
Yeah.
what that's.
we're going to talk a little bit about the Public Art Committee, but that is
Commission.
She said commission.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, committees, commissions, I'm sorry. So the
Sorry.
PAC is Public Art Committee and the KC Kingston Art Commission.
Right.
So
Is it
any,
like working with government?
so any questions about this process? Okay, so now we're going to go through the entities that are going to be involved with the public art projects. So we start, and I think this is, I think we've all learned how important this is, that the ACA, the Department of Arts and Cultural Affairs, is administering the programs of the Kingston Art Commission and directs all public art projects and implements the policy with advice and guidance from the Public Art Committee. Do you want me to go through each of these points, or these points are just slightly adjusted from what we, the first version, but so the committee will develop a vision of and goals for the public art program to ensure that they're in sync with the City of Kingston, communicates and advises with all the city departments, seeks review and comment for the approvals in the process that we just outlined, determines budgets, criteria, and selection methods. We are recommending a project team and discuss that, how the ACA would be working with a project team to do this. And then we'll develop and implement the community engagement plan for the projects to make sure that the departments and key stakeholders are involved. I think there's two more things: managing the art projects from inception to completion, and then overseeing and documenting the inventory and the management of the municipal art collection. And as the ACA already does, is providing periodic reports to public art committee
And the mayor.
So is this any questions or concerns or comments?
You have a question, Richard?
Yes,
Yeah.
the definition of key stakeholders, how open is that?
It depends on the project.
It would depend on the project. I mean, my concern is always, how much of the community is involved.
The community has to be involved, but, the key stakeholders would change depending on the project.
Yeah, it's just I'm always afraid that it just means business people.
No.
Yeah, I think
No, what it means is as few as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Julio, you have a question?
Yeah, my question is, why have a Public Art Committee when we in fact have an art commission? And why, it seems to be, doesn't seem to make any sense to me.
So
The Public Art Committee, I'll take it for a minute.
Because, because if you can,
yeah, so this is something we've talked about, and it's also something we talked about with the mayor as well, on two different occasions. And we're thinking about the Public Art Committee as a subcommittee of the Art Commission, because as art commissioners, you have a lot of things that are on your plate that involve the arts throughout Kingston. And this would be a subcommittee that would be focused on public art, and it would also be able to bring in some other advisors. Just the way we have with the Public Art Policy Committee, we've brought in people to advise who aren't on the commission. So it's a way of being able to ensure that we have a group of people that are really focused on these issues to advise.
Also, the way I see it is that the Public Art Committee will be doing a lot of the groundwork, the research work, the discovery work with me. By the time it gets to the Kingston Arts Commission, that committee will have completely and thoroughly done the investigations, the considerations, and what have you. So the final step, referring it to the commission might see things that the committee or I did not, or the other departments did not. So, what I see is the committee being the working committee. Again, by the time it reaches the commission, we're pretty positive we want to move this forward, but the commission will have the final say on approval and recommendations.
so am I correct in thinking that the Public Art Committee will be appointed by the art commissioners?
Actually, we have more info on that in
So-
that I can share with you. But before we move on, other questions about this?
The selection of the Public Art Committee, is that going to be done in consultation with the Art Commission? Or is that going to be done by the mayor's office or by Kit?
It's in the next section.
Yeah.
That's in the next section.
You have the composition, page 3.
So, so as I said, the Public Art Committee is a subcommittee, and
Right.
that we're looking at having, so this is the voting members would be 2 representatives of the Kingston Art Commission. So you folks would select who are those 2 people. And there would be 3 members of the public with relevant expertise: artist, art historian, art conservator, arts administrator, curator, architect, historian, business person, that would be identified through the open application and interview process that is used for some of the other, I guess it's actually used for being on the Kingston Art Commission to begin with, but also for other bodies. So those would be the voting members. I assume that you'd have a lot of, this is going to be a lot of done by consensus, but just it's important to sort of separate that out. For non-voting, there would be 2 representatives of city departments, 1 representative of the Common Council, who is the liaison to the Kingston Art Commission, and then the director of the Department of Arts and Cultural Affairs. Another thing we discussed on Monday when we met was when appropriate, other commission members or departments might be included based on the topics that the is pursuing.
So to answer Julio's question then, there'll be an application process for the Public Art Committee members, and the Kingston Arts Commission will make that decision on who the members should be per topic or project or commission project. Is that what was discussed? I don't remember.
I think that what I recall when we met with the mayor was that he said that you and he would review the applications to
Okay.
select these three members.
Are there any comments on that? That was the mayor's suggestion?
Yes.
That's pretty standard across the board now for boards and commissions that serve the city in other capacities. You know, the applications are, you know, a call for people of interest or, you know, is put out. Applications and resumes come in, and then, like, if it's planning board, for example, I would sit with the mayor and we would just go through them, we would say, okay, we'll interview this one, this one, this one. And then we come back together and he ultimately makes the
Yeah.
appointment.
So we can make recommendations maybe, but as with any member, he's the one who
Yeah, I
appoints
think
them.
that's gonna be really Kit representing you guys.
Okay.
Should have had to reach out to us first before. Business first.
Okay, thank you.
And I would imagine that you would have, you know, it would be really important for you to be reaching out to people to let them know about this opportunity in the beginning. So that to you know, people that you know of, make sure that they apply if they're interested in participating.
I just have a question on business person. I mean, it's a little vague.
It's someone who owns a cannabis shop.
Yeah, that's actually, I mean, that kind of vagueness, you know.
Like, keep it groovy.
I mean, it's not just specifying an arts relationship.
Okay, so why don't you, would it be a business? I mean, I know there's a lot of businesses that are arts related, that are fabricators, that are,
Yeah.
you know, paint makers. So should we be more specific, like
Can you just say in a related industry?
Like an art business person?
Related industry?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
That way it's not gonna be limited
Or
to.
industry, related business or related industry?
Yeah, related, that's fine, just not a gas station owner or something.
okay,
But
good.
the gas station owner might be somebody who could have an MFA.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
That may be an expert in.
That makes it related though.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, yeah, if it's a gas station owner who has an MFA.
But also I have a question. It doesn't hurt to have somebody that is not related to the art, so can also give us a reality check. Because sometimes we get too much into our specialization and we forget that the rest of the world also has a different way of seeing things.
Plus, these people are applying,
Yeah.
you know, they're submitting an application and they maybe read it out.
Yeah.
It's also,
And you're choosing 3 people from any one of those things. So,
Yeah.
from artists, from
Right.
conservators.
We will see of the pool of application, what are the best options that
I
we
just,
should.
yeah, and just to speak to what you're saying though, if that's true, you know, to get beyond just those of us in sort of in the arts, I don't hate to use the word silo, but, you know, it's, you're only talking about one person then, and all of these other people are in the arts. So, you know, if that's true, that it should be more on the outside, there should be more people than who represent that outside, than just one person.
Well, it would be great, but again, you know,
I mean, I know that makes it cumbersome, I'm just,
yeah, for the sake of being efficient with this, you know, normally you have to go with a group of people
but
that
that's why I
can.
think it should be something that's relevant then to the arts.
Maggie, what do you think?
I think that what matters is somebody who has a concern and a commitment to contribute to the process.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
that it's,
I think
we're talking about
having
one
other
of 5
perspectives is
people.
not-
yeah,
And I think they can come to
they
the
can
table.
contribute to
Any-
enrich the discussion.
Yeah.
There's an old rubric or standard comment about, I don't know art, but I know what I like. You want some of those, I know what I like people to
Exactly.
temper artistic overreach.
Yeah,
I would like to expand that phrase to go, it's so visual right now. There are other artists who have sensibilities, dancers, writers, actors, musicians.
Yeah.
They have artistic sensibility,
Yeah.
and while they may not paint or draw a straight line, we still know what we like when we see a piece of visual art. They're as valuable as the list is there.
Well, I guess I would, maybe we should say an artist of any discipline, because you were just thinking of artist being, or I was thinking of artist being a big umbrella of artist, but
Yeah, I think that your wording is a little specific and I like what you said. And if you say related to any discipline and those with an invested interest in
Yeah,
and related industry, I mean, I think that sort of hits a lot of.
Okay,
so that we don't get trapped in something too specific, but not completely broad. It's a
So
good,
we're not.
Goldilocks.
We're not using gas station owners.
unless it has an MFA, right?
He's gonna say that's-
Sounds good.
okay. So I'll definitely update that. Are there any other comments about the other, members?
No, I would say that if not, it's gonna get like way too complicated and it's just to choose three people, right? We can get trapped on the weeds.
Yeah. I think you also want to have like a core group that's going to be committed to doing it because it's, as you know, like every meeting, it's like a different combination of people. It can be very frustrating. So. So can we move on to what the group will do? So, we discussed on Monday that it would convene bi-monthly or as needed to review the issues related to the collection, the project development.
I have a question, and maybe it's a matter of the language. You know, English is not my first language. So bi-monthly means every other month or twice a month?
Every other month.
Every other month.
Semi-monthly is.
Okay.
Every other month?
Just because, you know, bi for me is like 2 times, right?
Oh, I get it. We want to make sure that this is clear to everyone, so.
Sometimes together, yeah.
That's
Thank
why.
you.
Yes. Yeah.
Did we address terms?
You know, we brought that up with the mayor and Kit, I seem to, I seem to remember that, and Sarah, you may remember too, that he was like not worrying about terms right now while we're getting it going.
But would they be set up in much like the other commissions in that way, or? Because you talk about voting, you talk about, so that.
Voting and non-voting.
Non-voting are usually, they don't have terms affiliated with them because they come from a background, a specific background, but
the
membership generally with.
Because then you're saying there are minutes, there are, you know, are we having public meetings, are there, what, you know?
Well, I have to update you guys on that, don't worry.
So Sarah.
That was my idea,
Because I would say the same as the commission, if there's got to be term, the mayor, you said the mayor, I don't remember it either, but I think that the mayor wasn't really worried about it, but the points that are being brought up right now.
Yeah.
I would say that we should set a 3-year term limit so that we can move some people around. We don't get stuck like other, I see other organizations with the same people.
If you recommend a 3-year term, what you would do is recommend a 3-year term, but the initial terms will be staggered. So one will come in at 1 year, another 2 year, another 3 year. And that way, they don't all rotate out at the same time, you have that overlap.
And are those terms renewable?
They could be, up to the discretion of.
For the
commission.
For the rec payment.
But I think especially with those, as you're staggering those first ones, like if someone's just serving for a year, you might want to renew them, you know.
Right.
Right, so after the first year, you would renew it for 3 years.
Yeah.
So you have
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
staggered.
that's how the commission was set up.
Yeah.
It was
Continue.
that.
That's how we stagger them.
I mean, you could just say it's modeled after Kingston Arts Commission.
Let's say that, let's say it's modeled after the Kingston Arts Commission,
Well,
because.
it's not in the agenda. I have some updates for you, but it is my understanding that there is like a general thing that regards to terms and all those things for the city commission. So across the board, they need to be consistent Therefore, we may not need to spell that out here at this level because it comes already from above. So we cannot
Yes.
Right,
Some
whatever-
are set by statute already.
Yeah, exactly.
State law, like,
Exactly.
for certain commissions.
So,
For this, I mean, you could just use what you're thinking about. I think that's totally fine. I mean, it's 3 people. I think it makes sense to do it that way.
And I guess with the Kingston Art Commission, you might have people rotating on and off the commission, so their terms would be based on their commission term.
So what is our final on that bullet that she's working on?
what?
What is our final on this bullet that she's working on? Is
That's
that
the red one.
what we're saying, or?
We have to defer to legal, or we are deferring to statutes, we're deferring to something. It's not-
Yeah,
But this is a committee,
after the commission,
It's
yeah,
our recommendation.
it feels like it's a committee of the Kingston Art Commission, so
yeah,
what are your? It
come
will
following the, yeah.
comply with your, how you describe it for the commission.
What did you just say? Say it again.
Well, I mean, I think you're overthinking it. I mean, it's very
Yeah.
simple. I mean, your KAC members are just gonna follow with their terms. Or you can, they can go in and out, however you want. But
Oh,
3 others, I think you just do, it's 3-year term. The first 3 are staggered at
Staggered.
1, 2, and 3 years, and at the time that they become reappointed or someone else, they're 3-year terms. I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You don't need to overthink
Yeah,
it.
We'll take-
Julio has something? Julio?
yeah, so the Public Art Committee will be chaired by an art commissioner, Kingston Art, from the Art Commission.
it doesn't seem that there is a chair position in this committee.
So if it's, so the committee is going to be formed under the Kingston Art Commission. So presumably, the chair of that committee, the Public Art Committee, would be an art commissioner, Kingston Art Commissioner.
Richard has talked about this. I don't know
Yeah.
what the rules are, but any subcommittee of the commission must be chaired by,
A commissioner.
Does it have sense?
I don't know.
Oh, I.
Yes, I
You were
think,
here long before I was.
Yeah, I mean, I just, it could somehow, I don't know why, in the back of my head, it was, maybe I'm thinking of Matt, actually, I think, it was not,
yeah,
yeah.
that's the
right.
problem, that we get confused.
Okay, where the chair was, as long as there were board members on the committee, it was okay, but you didn't have, so this is a little different, that's.
I would say that kind of detail, we should refer to the statutes or whatever and just follow what is across the board for the city
It's fine.
commissions and
Okay.
committees, yeah.
Can you write that, Jennifer?
Yeah, where would I find that information?
With the legal counsel, I think.
Yeah, or why don't you up above just say where it says 2 representatives of the Kingston Art Commission designated by KAC, 1 who shall serve as chair.
Okay,
I'm killing them, yeah.
And
I'm gonna hire you, I'm gonna hire you.
this is how boards work, and board
Yeah.
subcommittees, and those that are allowed to take on outside interests, a board member still is the chair. because
To keep
it
the- yeah.
makes sense, because it has to go back to the board.
Exactly.
So it's just, it's good practice, best practice in
Yep.
governance.
okay, I'm just putting it here, I'll move it, but I can't,
On top.
No.
Your makeup, your
okay.
composition.
At the top.
Jennifer,
Oh.
put it at the top
Thank-
where you have the makeup of the committee.
Yeah, be better than.
Because of this.
I can't, the way that it's formatted, I can't write in that section now. But I wrote, I know it's gonna go there, and I just wrote it down here to remind myself. We'll change that chart and add it there. So, can we move along? So after meeting every other month, some of the things that this committee will do is approve the artist selection panel recommendation. And it will review the final design for new artworks. So once you've picked an artist, even if they've made a proposal, the artwork is definitely going to go through some changes based on, feasibility and comments and everything. So there needs to be sign off on that design, and KAC would be involved with that. So it's sort of the first step in the review process, reviewing the gifts to the Municipal Art Commission, the temporary art projects, and in these cases, it would review them and then make a recommendation to the Kingston Art Commission.
Okay, can we go to that, I don't know which bullet it is, but reviews all gifts of artwork offered to the municipal or to the city?
All gifts?
Okay, offer to the city, yep.
And make recommendations.
Right.
Okay, because it might be rejected and not go to the. So what I would imagine is it would only, if it rejects the artwork gift, it doesn't have to go to the Kingston Art Commission, because it's only recommending the things that are going to progress in the process.
And, the examples of rejecting would be, that we can't maintain, we can't afford to maintain it.
Yeah.
It does not flow with our statement of purpose. There's other reasons why it would be rejected. Do you think that after the committee votes to reject a offer of a gift, does it need to come to you? Would you see any other reason why we should?
No, because then why we have a committee?
No, but the
The
commission,
committee, but the committee is also sort of like a filter,
Right.
and then we come with whatever is the recommendation. I mean, that's why we create those structures, not just to have a bureaucracy, right? So it's to be more
I think
efficient.
you need to include that the KAC will be apprised
Yes,
of what has been
Oh, inform.
rejected, yes.
and
Yeah.
they override it.
Yeah, the chair of the committee should bring it back
Yeah,
to
I think,
inform
I
what the
think.
decision was, so we can
have
say,
to
oh, you turned it down, fine.
Yeah,
We so
Because
back
there may be-
in, bam, that's.
yeah.
You wanted to say something, Cecily?
Well,
I mean, that makes it, no,
Wait.
it should be.
Just a second, Cecily wants to
I
say
just have
something.
a question because things can be rejected, but how are we documenting why it's
Yeah.
rejected?
Well, we have, in the collection, section 3, we have the criteria for
Yeah,
present the collection. And as Kit said, it doesn't fit the statement of purpose. It is,
yeah.
we don't have a site for it. We don't have a place to put it. We're not going to just get something and put it in storage. There should be a place.
But I
to-
mean, documenting it so that later in 2 years,
Yeah,
let's
everything
say,
is clear,
it
yeah.
comes back and then we say, well, why didn't we reject it? We didn't have it, but now we do, or we have them.
Yeah. So I would imagine there would be minutes of all the meetings, and then there would be a letter written to the.
I think what she's getting to is a checklist. A checklist for the committee to follow if.
Yeah, it's like a rubric, what are the things that need to, yeah.
Checklist.
I think.
Yeah,
what
we
the
have that. We do have that checklist in the.
Yeah, we have it.
But yeah, I think here what we're talking about is documenting.
So I'm just gonna say that.
And document,
To the
okay.
Because
commission.
you also want to protect the committee, right?
Yes.
So that they're not, it's not like a frivolous rejection. There's reasons behind it and it's documented.
Yeah, I think that, everything needs to be documented. If it's approved, not approved, or whatever, everything needs to be documented. It's part of transparency. Yeah,
And reports.
Yes or no?
Documentation.
Okay.
That's pretty much, for the entire,
For the entire thing.
give,
but-
whether it's,
yeah.
commission or anything else, we have a process.
Okay. So so I'll just make sure that this is worded correctly with each of the,
Yeah, because it's.
so.
So the commission should be informed whether it's accepted.
Yeah,
Or
no,
not.
no.
Every gift should be documented as to whether it was accepted or rejected and why.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
Right,
Suzanne.
so, just so I'm clear, the committee is just making a recommendation,
Yeah.
correct? Not any final decisions.
No, the final-
All decisions rest with the commission.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be, okay, I just
Yeah.
want to make it clear, I heard that the committee may reject it.
Well, but here's the thing, if something gets presented to the committee as a work of art and happens to be the leftover of a car that was crashed, do we really need to make a decision, or we can trust that the committee will know, well, that shouldn't move
I
forward?
think it should go to the full commission. The committee is a working group. That's the way I kind of see it. The committee is a subgroup. It's a working group. It makes a recommendation whether to accept
For
it,
one side or
reject
the
it, or what have you. But the commission
But
should
the
have the
decision
final
should
say.
come to the commission?
I think it comes to the commission will, bore through it, consider the pros and the cons of whatever is recommended by the committee, and then, of course, you know, this enables the mayor to make an informed decision.
Yeah.
Because how many times do you see across the nation, people coming up to the mayor, can I give you this artwork? And the mayor, you know, feels pressured or whatever. Now, this takes all of that away from the mayor, and the mayor can, you know, weigh in on this. And then say, based on the recommendation of the committee, I can
They say
accept
that.
this. Or, you know, come back to the committee with, I see it a different way. And I see where it can go, but, you know, we need to make sure that we've done the work.
Okay, so do you want, do all rejected projects go to the mayor? Or can the KAC?
No. The committee recommends to approve or not approve, and then the commission makes the decision, and that final decision that the commission makes is passed to the mayor.
Okay, great.
So then, if it is turned down, because you want, whether it's accepted or turned down, you want a documentation.
Yes.
It's a recommendation with a documentation to approve or not approve to KAC.
Yeah.
Who then makes the recommendation
Who takes the final decision,
to the mayor.
up to recommend or not.
And the mayor is then in the know.
Yeah.
Without having to deal with it, just.
Or not.
Yeah.
Could the mayor at the end say like, thank you for your recommendation, but I still wasn't gonna do this?
Well, this is what I just said, the mayor might
Yeah.
see why it was rejected and say, okay, it was rejected.
But we didn't
because you
for-
don't
from
see
this
where there's a
again.
site for.
Yeah.
This is how city, state, and federal grants work.
Yeah.
There's panels, there's the actual working group, there's the board.
And the final
then the
decision.
guy says, yes, thanks for telling me, or no, you all were wrong, and that's your.
Yeah.
The arts commission is an advisory group.
Yeah, because
It's
the
not-
mayor may have reasons
It's official, but it's
superseding
advisory.
any concern of the commission.
Correct.
Okay, so basically, we're using this template that we looked at before. So this is gonna be, the sign up is gonna be for anything that's accepted or rejected. We'll go through this sign up. Is
Yeah.
basically what you're saying, and that everything will be documented at each step of the way.
Yes.
Great. So I'll make sure that that's reflected in the next version.
And I would say that this mayor, of course, we don't know what the next mayor will do, but this mayor would trust, you know, the work that is being done by this committee and commission. And just kind of go along with, you know, the way that, you know, that this commission and this committee is weighed in and making, you know, the right judgment calls. But again, he might see something that we don't see.
Yeah, you might have a political reason.
I think also,
At the end, it's his responsibility.
so just to go through these, we talked about this process with donations. This would also happen with temporary public art projects. Plans to move artwork from one room to another. Do those go through this whole process as well?
Just moving some artwork from one location to another within the city limits.
Yeah, it obviously has to be within the city. Let's say, you know, so-and-so is a new department head and they don't like the artwork that's in their office and they want to change it. And we have a process for them to do that with working with the ACA. So does that, and that, it feels like the Public Art Committee should definitely weigh in on that. But are
It's
those,
for documenting.
so
For historical
we'll
purposes.
just say that every one of these things on this list will go to the chain that we just looked at, right?
Documentation is hugely important. It's the most important thing, especially as you go from administration to administration.
And this is where.
That's what we're gonna make sure that that's clear here. I just want to make sure that we're applying this chain to every one of these things. So I'm hearing that we are, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then the committee can also form subcommittees or task forces. And these might include, something that needs more careful study, like deaccessioning, for a small group to do the research, or for instance, the review of the artwork in City Hall and how that's gonna, if that needs to move around or so on. So that sort of concludes what the Public Art Committee does. Any questions? And then the Kingston Art Commission would, as we've discussed, would be appointing 2 members. Public Art Committee would be approving all the recommendations from the Public Art Committee on all projects.
Can I go to the one sentence, the KAC is advised by the Director of Arts and Cultural Affairs. I thought it was the opposite.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I galvanized the KAC, they advised me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. You mentioned this. You mentioned this when we met. I'm just moving it around.
Okay.
And I didn't hear it correctly. So thank you for
Right,
correcting.
I galvanized, they advised.
Okay, great. Of course, that makes more sense. Great. So the KAC appoints 2 members to the Public Art Committee. It approves the recommendations, or maybe reviews and approves.
Yeah, that's better.
Approves, works. So these are all the different things that we've listed above, and then the recommendations are forward to the mayor for final approval.
Yes.
Receives periodic reports from ACA and Public Art Committee, conducts a biannual review of the goals, policies, and guidelines as they pertain to the policy and acquisition on artwork on behalf of the city. So it has a chance to just kind of weigh in on how things are going.
I'm sorry if I'm going again with this thing, the same thing.
every year.
Biannual means like every 2 years? Okay, good, thank you.
Got it.
So that's good.
Yeah, it could be confusing, yeah.
I'll have to do a word search for that biannual for next time.
Yeah, well, it's like a biennial. but-
Get
It conducts a review every other year of goals and policies, not every other year review.
Great.
And guidelines, they pertain to policy.
So any other things to add to this? Then all city departments, we had worked on descriptions that went into more detail about each, all the departments. And in our conversation with the mayor, he suggested that we just streamline it with this idea that all departments will at some point interact with the public process. And this is a list of some of the ways that the departments will be engaged. So it's clear that the arts and cultural projects start with the ACA. The departments coordinate with ACA to commission artworks that utilize funds through the city budget or grants. These will become part of the municipal art collection. So the
My
state,
understanding, I'm sorry, can you pause here? It reads that the various departments will coordinate with ACA to commission artworks. It reads as though they are commissioning artworks.
okay, so
Am I getting this wrong?
Sometimes they are.
Sometimes, Maggie, other departments will commission artwork.
no, I think that they should be coordinating. I mean, they may want to do an artwork, but they should be coming to you. So it may not, doesn't have to be the ACA's idea to do every artwork, but if someone is going to do an artwork, they will be coordinating with you. They won't just be going off and doing it.
Including departments not initiating or outside of the ACA,
Yeah.
as well as the commissioning, the initiating projects.
I guess that here, the key in all this is to really have conversation with all the stakeholders, right? So it's not that somebody's gonna do something without telling this part or whatever it is, that there is a conversation. Because also they may have different interests. And I think that they, as long as there is a civil conversation, say, well, why you want to do this? And then, well, this is the recommendation from the people that know about that, how to do it better. You know, it should be somehow informed. In the case of getting something for the department, if the other departments say, you know, what if we paint our office blue because we are tired of the yellow? I don't know, just
That's not my area. But I hear you.
But, you know, it's like maybe, okay, oh, we wanted to have a more warm space, but there is a good argument informed by people that know why it shouldn't be like that, because it's a landmark building, you cannot do whatever. So when we have those conversations, then people, oh, okay, I didn't know, so what can we do to make the room more cozy for us? I mean, there are some recommendations from people who know how to do that. So, you know, I would like to feel this document as something that is helping people to work together and not just to be open armed to see, like, in case you do this, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. I feel like there's this first stage, which is basically, you know, this is a new policy, this is a new way of doing things that hasn't been in, you know, it's brand new. So there's the first couple of years is going to just be really reorienting how people think about this, because it really wasn't a possibility before. So then as it continues, this hopefully will be more self-explanatory for people. But I hear what you're saying about making.
They have some dates at some point.
But I just also feel like I'm hearing when I present to people, I'm hearing that it should be in policy language versus plan language. So I just.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It should be simple enough phrase so that anybody who reads it can understand.
Can understand what
It's
it's
the
saying.
guidelines, not the implementation.
No, so it's like policy, not plan.
Yeah, we don't need to get too much in the jargon.
You can write that after this, if you must. Jennifer, I brought this up on Monday. We're so narrowcasted to visual arts.
Yeah,
You can dance, sing, or perform in a city park. That's art.
it's a public art.
So should we be involved in that? It's like we're only talking about visual, and that's, to me, that's very narrow. As I said, I work in the other arts, so I'm always looking at the other arts instead.
But it's because the public art sticks around and the dance exists on a one time basis.
Okay, but
It's a
okay,
temporary.
let me give you an example. So
American-
someone wanted to do a complete new dance in a city park. Who's going to approve that? Parks, art, and do we get involved?
I feel like that, and maybe the word of public art is, it's coming across too narrow, and rather than saying public art, culture, maybe if we say culture, and performing arts,
Or multidisciplinary arts.
multidisciplinary.
It's broad. We have to take into consideration that, I mean, I know there are actors and dancers and musicians all over town, and we're just kind of ignoring them.
Yeah,
When we're doing this policy.
But what's the mechanism then that for something like that, for performing, that it goes before? Huh?
I opened the can of worms.
No, yeah, well,
No, but I think that enters into the temporary.
The thing is, the mechanics of it, you know, I mean, you're talking about, the subcommittee, is going to be meeting about a one-time or, you know, something, a performance. And then making, it seems like this is something that really doesn't have to be involving the subcommittee. It really is sort of the ACA's,
Program.
and if the ACA wants more research, bring it down to.
That will be program.
I would like to invite folks to go where Ward initially told me to go. And as Americas for the Arts, they have fine examples of, you know, temporary projects involving dance, music, and whatever, but they're major projects.
Yeah.
And it falls under public art policy, especially if, you know, these people like Peter Wetzel or others are going to be applying for funding under our department.
That's the mechanics of it then.
well, I,
Would be implemented, done.
It could still go through a committee.
yeah, I feel like I can work on this section, but I don't want to exclude somebody who wants to do an opera in the park or someone who wants to do, you know, I think there's, you already have the jazz program that Kit runs. I don't know if something like that needs to, whether this process would slow that down, because of the nature of, you know, a music series. But certainly a commissioned work in the,
You want to ask something?
That was exactly my.
Okay.
I'm required by the comptroller to establish a selection committee for anybody who performs for our series.
Mhm.
So there are municipal requirements for, you know, it's about transparency.
So I don't know if it's exactly the same question, but so what is the difference between temporary art and the programming that you have to put together? Because there should be, at some point, there is a line that differentiates those things.
That's temporary art.
That's temporary.
Dance is-
All of that is temporary art?
One thing is temporary.
What about these groups that have events, you know, like the Hooli on the Hudson, right? They have dancers.
Oh, but they,
So that's completely separate, right? I
That's
mean,
not
it's
part, that's not city managed.
it's not initiated by the city, yeah.
Okay, so I just want to be clear that, you know, I mean, there has to be, some kind of distinction.
Yeah, we need to define something.
Or somebody comes, you know, and says, hey, I want to rent your park, you know, I want to put on do this performance on such and such a weekend.
You're welcome to do that as long as they're funding it.
And if they want to do it nude, I say do it nude.
Pay the fee and rent the big tent and the scenario.
But don't they also need to get a permit? I mean, it's reviewed.
Yeah,
by-
there's a
Yes,
permit.
right. So it would be.
So, and just, please, another reminder, we still have like a glossary at the end that when we say this is what we mean, right?
Definitions.
Okay, the definition.
Isn't all of this entire policy about what is initiated by and for the city? As opposed to a private performance is not
Yes.
initiated by the city. The city's not.
It's not initiated.
You know, they,
What is,
so
could you say that again? I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear.
a private festival, the Hulu, Pinkster, Jazz in the Valley, none of those, or they all go through the city for approvals in terms of permitting and
Exactly.
whatever is mandated.
But they
by
are not
law For the
initiatives.
use of the parks, but they're not initiated by the city. This policy is about what the city is initiating, whether it's a fine art, you know, a visual art, a physical art. And to my reading, the committee can have at any point in time subcommittees. And that's what that's how the performing,
Those
the
areas.
committee that Kit is talking about, that's.
We'll add it.
And that's separate from this subject.
No, they would be part of that,
It would be-
they
it
would
would be-
fall under that aegis.
It would be
I
the same
just want to
subcommittee?
remind everybody that we have just very few minutes before we need to vacate the room.
So I just have a quick question. So Pinkster and all these other festivals, do they come to the Kingston Art Commission? Do you guys?
No,
No, they're privately managed.
they are private managed, they just need a permit and pay their fees.
Okay, great. So just, we're almost at the end. I've heard what everyone's saying and I'll take a stab at updating this. The Corporation Council will provide legal advice on public art issues, develop a standard contract, and will periodically review the public art policy to assess compliance with city departments. And the mayor's office will be apprised of all of the activities. Together with the department head will select the 3 arts members, which we discussed, initiates the budget with funds related to public art, is presented with a written recommendation from the Kingston Art Commission on behalf of the Public Art Committee and the ACA describing the project and the artist concept, and reviewing the maintenance issues and also reviewing any deaccessioning. And then this Kingston Common Council will approve the city's budget that may include funds related to public art, support community outreach, particularly as it pertains to their districts, and appoint a representative. Their representative will serve on the public.
I would just say instead of serves on advisory, because that's an advisory now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's right. And then we can discuss this more in detail, but this was the artist selection panel composition that we were looking at that also would involve it could either have a KAC or PAC member, representative of the department that's responsible for the site, a community representative who lives or works in the area, an artist who is not eligible to apply, and an arts professional. And the ACA staff would chair the meeting and be non-voting. And then the advisors, and this is something that we discussed the other day, would involve city departments with an interest in the project, representatives of organizations that are affected or engaged with the project, that are located nearby or working with adjacent communities. And if there is an architect or landscape or architect, if this is part of an overall capital project, then that person would be an advisor. And then others to be determined, again, based on whatever the project is.
Good.
So.
Thank you for all this hard work, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I hope it's not finished yet, but we're getting really close.
That's good.
So
I think that I read the word timeline, the timeline for the.
We're working on the timeline. Jennifer and I are gonna be crunching out on Monday. I have a
Okay.
meeting with the mayor, which, by the way, that meeting went very well. And we have to now schedule several more meetings with the mayor per section. But Jennifer and I will be crunching the timeline to the presentation of the Common Council. We will provide that
Cool.
to you midweek next week.
Beautiful.
But we should be good.
I just want to thank all the non-commission members for their contributions.
Yeah. And the commitment, yeah.
Very generous.
I thought we were getting paid.
And those,
Except for one person. Did I mention?
and also those
You
who are
wish-
not here, that like Anna Conlon,
Yeah,
Nazario, all of our members, because if they cannot come to committee meetings, they're writing to us. And
yes,
I so appreciate their work and everybody's, focus on this. This is gonna help a whole lot moving forward. Although, we know that any kind of policy change, they may have some bumps in the road. You know, some people don't like change, some people don't like policy or bureaucracy, but, you know, like that's why Jennifer's suggesting it might take a couple of years for us to get in rhythm with it. But I'm really happy. with
There is always a
this.
learning curve, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I also just want to reiterate that, but also mention that I sent a memo to Kit with some suggestions for how this policy can, like the project that's already been initiated can follow this policy when it meets up with this in a timeframe. Because it really should.
It can inform at least, yeah.
This, you know, obviously it got started for all the reasons it did, but it should kind of dovetail into this selection, you know, this sign off that we're talking about should be, you know, initiated whenever the project, when the policy's complete and the project reaches what, you know, whatever point it comes in at. So, that's what I'm looking at.
Well, if we don't have anything else, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded? Beautiful, everything, everybody in favor. Thank you very much, everyone. So I will see you next month. Well, we will meet again next month and continue having fun. The party goes on and on. Thank you, Jennifer.
And Jennifer, can we try on your ring?